Hi, if you're watching this video, this is how I got married to a man after 1 week of seeing each other, after 1 week of setting our eyes on each other. And this happened 6 years ago, almost 6 years ago. And I assure you that it is in those 5 years plus of my life, it's actually the worst years of my life. And the only good things I actually got from that union are my 3 children, though one is late now, but the 3 of them are the only good things I got in that union. Actually, I know that after sharing this, that a lot of people are going to call me names. A lot of people are going to, insult me and all that, and call me foolish. But then I'm sharing this story to kind of encourage somebody out there. Somebody actually shared hers, and which triggered me filming this video now, which actually made me say, why don't I share mine to kind of encourage more people? Because when a lot of people see what happened to people who did what we did, they'll kind of learn from it. This first person that I saw her video is Padita Agu. You can always go and check her out. So when I saw her video, I felt like, yes, I should share mine to kind of prevent girls from doing the same mistakes we did, from falling prey from stuffs like this. Actually, I'm not just going to share this story, just like that. I actually want to share along with the story lessons that I learned in these past few years. I actually got married at the age of 21/22. We wedded in February, and April I became 22, so it's 21, 22. So the first lesson is, do not give in to pressure. There are different types of pressure, yes, peer pressure, family pressure, and all that. I wouldn't say I was pressured by my parents at 21 to get married. No, nobody pressured me, from my family side. But then I think it was kind of from my friends. It's not like they actually use knife and put on my throat, say you must marry. No, but it's a subtle pressure, and there are different types of pressure, like I said. So how it all happened was that I at that time just broke up with my ex then, and it was over 3 months. I was just trying to you know put myself together and move on. So I had these 5 amazing friends then. We were 4 plus me, 5. So one kind of went for a youth service at that time, so we were left with the 4 of us. So the 4 of us were very close, very close. We say the same thing and then we do it. I mean, to the best of my knowledge, actually. So they knew about my breakup. So one day we went for a convention and we took pictures. They tried making me happy. I was just being happy and all that. And then one of my friends went back with her picture and somehow showed it to her friend. And this her friend is a married woman who is a sister-in-law to my ex-husband now. So when she saw the picture, she's like, oh, I love this your friend, what is her name? She told her my name, told her some things about me, and then asked her to get me so she could see me. So one day when we went to that my friend's place, like as usual, like we normally do, and she started asking me if I would love to get into another relationship and probably get married. After all, a lot of our mates were already getting married at that time. So, and I was like, should we marry? Well, no problem. If I see the person and I like the person, no problem. She said, okay, that she has somebody who likes me and wants to see me, and that person that likes me, that the brother-in-law actually asked her to recommend a wife for him because he was living abroad. He's living abroad and he wanted to get married, settled, and so he needed a wife material and all that. And she saw my picture and she likes me and she wants to see me. And my friends were like, come on, no problem, let's just go and see her, they were kind of encouraging me, just go and see her. See, after all, you're no longer in a relationship. Your ex, you're no longer together with your ex and all that, so you can just go find out. It's not as if you're getting married right away. Just get to know the person and all that. So I accepted. So we went to see this friend of hers. She was pregnant at that time, so she saw me and she kind of liked me, and she asked me where I was from, asked me some kind of questions, and which I answered. And she collected my number, gave me my husband's number, and asked me to call him, or that he will call me back. So I left that day and I went back to because I was in school then, so I went back to my lodge, my house. So he didn't actually, I said to myself, I was like, I'm not going to be the first to call him. If it's important to him, he should be the one to call me. So a few weeks later, a foreign number called me. And guys, I am not the type that pretends. I don't pretend. So when that foreign number called me, though it wasn't the particular number that she gave me, it was a different number, but it's altogether is a foreign number. So when I saw that foreign number, I knew it has to be this guy, because I don't have any foreign number calling me. So when he called me and asked if I knew who he was, I said, are you so and so person? He said yes. I said okay, which he later told me that was the first thing he marked good about me, that I didn't pretend. So we started talking, we started chatting, we started he call me every day. Like, if he calls me in the morning, we are talking till afternoon. If he calls me in the afternoon, we are talking till evening. It got to a point where when he calls me and asked about my roommate would be like, tell him I'm not around, tell him I am not around, because she gets tired of talking to. So we will talk and talk and talk and talk. Sometimes we'll talk till midnight, till daybreak, So for like within a period of 1 week, 2 weeks, I felt like I know him. Like, I felt like I know who he was, just the same way I know my families. I know when the time he works, I know when he comes back from work, I know when he's going out, I know when he's eating, I know who his friends were. I talk to them over the phone. So we talked and talked like this for a very long time, which made me feel like I know him. So, which brings me back to my second lesson. Never assume you know somebody who you are chatting with on the phone, on social medias, or you even speak with over the phone. Because you don't want to get into trouble. For you to actually say, I know somebody, I know this person, you actually have to meet that person one-on-one. And seeing somebody one-on-one is not just enough, because when you're meeting for the first time, or you're going to put up your best behavior, you're going to act like you're a good girl or a good boy. So seeing is not even enough. You have to get close to the person, know that person, for you to actually say, yes, I know this person. So like I said, we kept talking and talking and talking. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. I felt like I know him already, and then I committed. So one day when he called me and that I must give him a reply today, that I should give him a reply, and that we've been talking for like 3 months now, so, and that he wants me to give him a definite reply and answer so that he knows what he's doing. So at that moment, I kept thinking to myself, what if he's a good guy and I just lose him, because I've not seen him? Maybe I should just, he seems to be a good guy and all that, So on the 1st of May 2013, I gave him a reply. And I felt like I was pressured into giving that reply, because he insisted. He will call me and he will insist that I must give him a reply now that he has, and I said, yes, I'll marry you. So, which brings me, well then, and that was how I committed. So he told me he was going to send his family over to come see my family. He asked for my parents' number and I gave him. Meanwhile, I talked to my parents. I told them, I said, see, he seems to be a good person. Your parents are not going to force you into marrying who you don't want to marry, or saying don't marry this person. So when I insisted I was going to marry him, I was going to do this, so they let me be. And when they did a background checkup and all that, they said, okay, no problem. And when they spoke to him, he seemed like a good guy. So they would, when he sent his family to come see my family. So when I asked him, when I said, I can't marry somebody who I've not seen, that I need to see you, he said, do you know so and so person? I happen to know the person. I said yes. He said okay. Because when I think that brings me to my third lesson. When you want to settle down with somebody who you are compatible with, somebody who you love nevertheless, somebody who you will see and you're okay with that person. Yes, there are different types of compatibility. There are emotional compatibility, physical compatibility, financial compatibility, and the rest. So let me give an example. If you're a man, a guy, and you want to get married, and somebody who you want, when it comes to physical attributes, you want somebody who is slim, smallish in nature, because probably you're big sized, and you want somebody who is small and homely too, somebody who has home upbringing and all that, wife material. And you see somebody who is big sized and then has that home training of homely, wife material. I advise you wait, because you're going to still find somebody who is slim, smallish, and still has a very good upbringing. Because you don't want to get married to somebody who is big sized just because he has a good home upbringing, and then tomorrow you start body shaming that person, or when you see somebody who's small size passing by you, you look. So you have to, physical attributes matters too. You don't have to say spirituality only, no, you have to be married to somebody who you are attracted to physically, somebody you be proud of, so that not tomorrow you start looking away. So when the week came that we'll meet, probably before then, we've already done our marriage arrangements, our white wedding arrangements. We've gotten our cards, my wedding gown, and a lot of things. We've already invited a lot of women to the wedding. Mind you, I've not seen him. So on the day we finally met, he wasn't what I expected. Like what he told me, the person he told me, it wasn't what I saw. But then I felt like, well, no problem, So that week, a week to the wedding, I realized there are so many things he lied to me about, so many things that he didn't tell me, so many things that were all false lies. So I decided I wasn't going to get married again to him again. So our wedding was on a Saturday, and on Wednesday I sent him a text that I was no longer interested, because during that week I was having terrible dreams. I was like, no, 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 no. Meanwhile, he told me he was 8 years older than I am, but when I saw him, he was a lot older than I was. He's over 15 years older than I am. And when I saw him, I felt like I saw an old man. So, but because he's based abroad, he knows how to take care of himself. So, with that and other things which I later found out about him, I said I wasn't going to marry again. No, 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 no. I wasn't going to marry. So, like I said, when it comes to compatibility, you you have to be compatible with somebody physically, emotionally, and financially, even intellectually. Because when you're not compatible with somebody on so many different things, you're going to be having a lot of problems. You'll be reasoning this way and you'll be reasoning that way. You will never have a straightforward reasoning. Your reasoning will be scattered most times, and which will cause a lot of trouble in the family. So when I said I wasn't going to marry again because of the lies he told me, he came and then he started talking to my family members, started calling everybody, telling them stuff, and asking them to beg me, stuff like that. Then you see what I said, never give in to pressure. So when all this were happening, my family members were like, how can you say you no longer want to marry a week to your wedding? Eh? Stuff like that. You have to marry this guy. He doesn't look bad. He doesn't look this, or he doesn't look like that. He doesn't look like this. All those things you're saying, it's not reasonable. It doesn't make any sense, and stuff like that. So, and they were like, marry him. There's no way you can say no all of a sudden you're not going to marry him after he has paid your bride price, after you've done this, after you've done that. That you can't just say you can no longer marry him now. So he was still begging and all that. I even ran away at some point, and the people I even ran to were like saying, no, this person doesn't look bad, he doesn't seem bad, you have to marry him already. You've just everybody was just in my head, and I decided, okay, no problem, let me go and marry now, and then that was how the wedding now took place. That Saturday, and we got married. Actually, I'm not going to share every damn thing that has happened in this last 5 years plus of the miserable marriage, but then do not live in isolation. This is especially for the naive young girls out there, especially the introverted people. I am actually an introvert. I started speaking up lately. I remember when I was a child, when I was way younger, I'm the introverted type, and my sister is the extrovert. She's usually the one that will go out and make friends for me. And then, so I don't make friends easily, and when I make, we die there today. Kind of, unless, they are the ones that ends it. So this is for the introverted young naive girls. So after getting married, the first week that we met and we got married, we traveled back and I lived here alone, only me with, and he got me off my career, my education, my friends, some of my families. It was just isolating me. He would tell me that this friend of mine did this friend of mine did that, and I'll find out from the conversation he had with my friends that they were discussing about me, and I really got upset, and that was how I lost most of my 4 friends. So this same guy who was supposed to be my man, my husband, my everything, became a horror film to me. he kept me in isolation. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any family members, coming close. He tried to an extent, he even tried disconnecting me and my only sister. We're just two in our family, me and my sister. So he would tell me how my sister is so wild because she's the extrovert, how she's this, how she's that, how she's going to be a bad influence to me and our marriage, that it is up to me to protect our marriage, that I should choose between my marriage or my family. I should choose between my marriage or my friends. I should choose between my marriage or my career. How protecting a marriage is a sole responsibility for the woman, that I should be the one to protect my marriage. Several times when I caught him doing something bad, like cheating and the rest, he's going to be like, it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. This one happened, that one happened. You're the woman. You should be able to protect your marriage. You shouldn't tell anybody about this. There are those people you're going to tell don't have a good marriage themselves. So you have to protect your marriage. This marriage protection lies only on you. So if you want this marriage to work, you have to do this. You have to do that. Several times he always heaped the marriage responsibility on my head, leaving himself. He wasn't supposed to do anything. He wasn't supposed to protect the marriage. He wasn't supposed to do anything. The whole protecting and everything was rested on my own shoulder alone. So, which is why I said never live in isolation. Learn to speak up when things get to this point where you can no longer bear it, where you almost given up. Because I almost harmed myself. Yes, because one time when I caught him cheating, and it was so unbearable for me, especially when you're doing everything to make this marriage work. He wasn't living with me. He was living abroad. So I did everything by myself. Whenever he visits, he will get me pregnant, and then he will go back. And throughout that period, throughout the 9 months period, I'll carry these pregnancies alone. I'll do every damn thing alone. I'll have these children. I'll cater for them. Sometimes when he even sees them, they're already 5 months, and above. So you should learn to speak up when things are getting out of hand. So I remember one time when I caught him cheating, and he beat me up seriously for catching him cheating. God. He beat me seriously that, why did I touch his phone? He will come back, he will go through my own phones. I don't have anything to hide. He'll go through my own phones and all that, but he wouldn't let me touch his own phone. So one time I remember we were just talking, and I took the phone away from his hand and I ran into my mom's room, because at that point my mom was already living with me. So I ran into my mom's room and locked the door, only to see only to get the shock of my life. He was sex chatting with his ex-girlfriend, and doing dirty talks, dirty chats, how he was going to come visit her and stay in a hotel and stuff like that. I was just reading those things, reading them, and when he broke the door, came in before my children, before my maid and my mother, and gave me the beating of my life. And at that point I became so mad. I was like, oh my goodness, so this is what I'll go through. And he doesn't have any plan of me joining him. He doesn't have such plan. He just wants to be free, have somebody here who is having kids for him, and then whenever he goes and come back, and then we're that story for another day altogether. So the point is, when you get to this point, learn to speak up for your own safety, for your own life. Because I nearly killed myself that day, because I felt like, what's the point? A lot of people are going to laugh at me, because already when I said I wasn't going to marry that first week of the week to the wedding, a lot of people carried the news. They were like, who married her abroad husband? She's marrying her abroad husband, stuff like that. So if I say now I'm no longer going to marry again, people are going to laugh at me. People are going to say, you see. but then they wouldn't know the true story. So do not die in silence. Do not worry about what people are going to say. When it's time to live, just live. Be alive. If not for anybody else, for yourself or for your children if you have children. So do not wonder what people are going to say. This is especially for the young girls, the naive girls. Do not worry about what people are going to say. Yes, 1 week, 2 weeks, they will talk about it and that story is gone. Then you still be alive to live. So I am sharing this story because there are a lot of bad guys out there that are seeing these naive good girls and wants to prey on them. Like I was preyed on. He used the intelligence of a way older person on me. He will control me. He will do so many bad things and then blame me for it just because I was young, so he can easily brainwash me and all that. So when I saw that these things was getting out of hand and I started speaking up, that was when he threw the bomb and said he wasn't going to marry anymore, and he ended it. Almost 6 years of our marriage, he ended it himself while I was still trying to see how to make things work, how to build this marriage, how to for my children's sake. And he ended it. Forgot about his children. Doesn't send 1 naira for his children. Well, story for another day. So guys, I feel relieved sharing this now, and I want to encourage a lot of girls out there, so you don't make the same mistakes we made, the same mistake I made. You don't want to make them, because in fact you don't want to make these mistakes. So thank you so much for watching. I do hope you learn 1 or 2 things, and do have a lovely day.